creativity. We get free, be me, working effortlessly. Do what you love and then allow the prosperity. You got this. Make good, make it your own. You know you got the power in your mind, heart, body, and soul to grow dreams, grow faith, grow you. Create authentically in the garden of good. Live, and love. In a God gonna dig big and trust. In a God gonna create, elevate, celebrate, and love. To the garden. Yeah. Welcome to the garden. Welcome to the garden of good. Happy Tuesday to you. I'm Amy Steinberg. This is my house in Asheville, North Carolina. And today is week 20. It's just made up. All right, I made it up. It's all made up, right? Everything. Just the fact that we wear shirts the way that we do. It's all made up. I made this one up today, thinking of fantasy, thinking of magic wands and spells and witches and werewolves and magic and fantasy-ness. That's the good we're going to make tonight. We have lots of cool things lined up for the evening. So this is this little song. And I want you, because you're muted and we can't even hear you, if you can't catch on to my melody, I want you to make up your own. All right? I know you're singers. Everybody's a singer. It goes like this. Sprinkling fairy dust, drinking a moonbeam, riding a rainbow, living the fantasy. I imagine myself free. That's easy, right? We sing that again. I imagine myself free. I see Cindy singing. I know she's going to do it. Love potions and magic spells, wonderful as life can be, releasing any fear, living the fantasy. I imagine myself free. I imagine myself free. Let's do it from the top. Sprinkling fairy dust, drinking a moonbeam, riding a rainbow, living a fantasy. I imagine myself free. Sing it any way you want to. I imagine myself free. Second verse. Love potions and magic spells, wonderful as life can be, releasing any fear, living the fantasy. I imagine myself free. I imagine myself free. Let's just sing that line over and over. I imagine myself free. I imagine myself free. I imagine the whole world free. I imagine the whole world free. The whole world. I imagine the whole world free. I imagine you free. I imagine you free. Look at somebody. Look at a little square. I imagine you free. You know I'm looking at you. I see you smiling. I imagine you free. Namaste. Freedom. The Garden of Good. I always like to especially we have a few new people here tonight, I always like to explain what we're doing here in the Garden of Good. The Garden of Good was inspired by my book, Make Good, that many of you have purchased from Amazon or in person at a show or something like that. It's a collection. I see people, yay, Ava has her book. That's great. And Every week, we just use one of the words from the book. We're going right in order the whole year long through the 4 quarters of heart, mind, body, and soul. Tonight is week 20 and it's fantasy. We are smack dab in the middle of the mind. Are we watching our minds? Does anybody feel even more aware of our minds and how they are used to play tricks on us? Yes. Oh, I
It's
can't believe
also the 20th.
it's also the 20th. Oh, it's the 20th week and it's the 20th of May. Very beautiful. That's beautiful. And twos, which is what a 20 is about relationship. So tonight we get to deepen our relationship with each other, with the garden, with ourselves. I love it. Every quarter, I invite you to have a root and a fruit. The root is something you're working on the inside. Everybody check in right now. What's your root? And if you want, you can put your root in the comments because I know we're watching each other. I know we have each other's backs. We can hold the consciousness. I know, for instance, that Joe Allen's his presence. I know that. We have confidence for James. Let's hold this for each other. See that release for Chrysalin. Knowing this for each other. That's why we have this community, is to hold it for each other. Yes, the present moment of now for Joellen. Enthusiasm, hold that space for Jeannie. Expression for Lisa. Allowing for Samra. I really hope I'm saying the name right. I keep messing that one up, I think. Somre. Allowing. You can unmute and tell me how to say it again if you want.
Somra.
Somra. I had it right the first time. Somra. And Martha, curiosity, always carrying fairy dust on her. Ava, creativity, welcome, my good, sweet friend. Forgiveness, Janice, tonight is your night. We are working on forgiveness tonight. Wendy, releasing. Cindy, learning tools and parts. And then the fruit is something that we're creating on the outside. Right now, I'm writing a book about my dollhouse, which was the fruit for my first quarter, which I got to bring. Ava got to see my dollhouse in person in Raleigh. I picked Ava up in Raleigh on my way here. I picked Ava up. We put her in our group. So a reminder to everyone, kindness first. Be nice to yourself today when we're drawing, when we're doodling, when we're writing. Who cares if you're not Shakespeare, if you're not Picasso? Who gives a fuck, okay? Just open. Just open yourself. This is a space. This is a place for us to get open, get raw, get clear, get creative, have fun. And everything is your choice. You get to do what you want. You get to use your camera if you want. And it is confidential. Now, I wanted to show you guys this graphic that you might have seen already on Facebook that I posted, which was something I played with AI with, was this idea of this map, this fantasy map. And then I was talking to somebody earlier and I was like, oh my God, could you imagine the Garden of Good theme park? Just go there with me. Just go. I know. Cindy saw it immediately. Imagine that there's like in the well of wonder, there's this awesome big pool, like a whirlpool. And then I don't know. Who knows? You never know. Always dream. Always. Tonight is fantasy. So I'm fantasizing, right? Fantasy. Take it away.
Sure. So let's just take a moment and focus on the center of our being. And I just invite you to do this with me. And if it feels comfortable, go ahead and close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just breathe into the center of your being. And as you exhale, just release any tension you may be carrying into this meeting, into this garden of good together. And we just acknowledge the power of imagination. So I'm from the Unity tradition. We have the 12 powers, and one of those 12 powers is this power of imagination. This is a divine expression that exists within each of us. So let's just take a moment and lean into this innate gift and power that we have within ourselves to imagine the type of world that we want to live in. And so I just invite you to imagine yourselves as healthy and whole and complete. I invite you to just to imagine a world where it is safe for us to love each other. Just use your imagination to send peace to the entire planet. And just know that when we actively engage with our imagination, envisioning the type of world we want to live in, energetically, we are connecting to every human being on the planet that is doing the same thing, paving a way for that to take place. And so we just bless this meeting, bless this garden of good that we have, acknowledging that it is awakening our innate powers, and we bring those powers into this space together, blessing each other and blessing the time we have together. And so it is. Abracadabra. Amen.
Oh, a poem by Lisa Masters. The wave of magic wand. Witches brew with frogs from ponds, sprinkling fairy dust, casting spells, darkening forests where evil dwells. Rabbits, top hats, and well-known tricks. Good witch sending you home with clicks. Levitation, illusion, and disappearing acts. Saving your mother, avoiding cracks. Broomsticks or pentacles. Tarot cards or spectacles. Recipes needing rat tails. And the life of a large snail. Of all the magic that may exist, the curiosity you can't resist, greatest trick magic can't claim, was making our two hearts bleed one in the same.
So I loved that poem because it felt like it was that inner child idea of fantasy and magic and dreams and this idea of all the things that are in that poem, just to kind of awaken that part of your mind. And before we go on to our first doodle, I wanted to have a moment for some roots and fruits. And I want to share about, first of all, I wanted to say that tonight we're going to be very theatrical because it's fantasy time. So all of my actors, all of my actresses that are here tonight, I hope that you're ready to perform for yourself. I didn't know I was going to be an old crone, but I don't know how that happened. But thank you. I see I'm making somebody laugh here. Okay. So I wanted to talk, before I ask you about your roots and fruits, I'm going to tell you my update. I'm just going to give you an update because maybe it'll inspire you. So one of the things to update you on is that I am further along in the writing of my one-woman show. I've told you guys all about it. Thank you. It did feel very Katharine Hepburn. Maybe I just channeled her for a moment. So I decided to make a blazer. You might have seen, I posted it on the Facebook page, of like patches of sequins and all this stuff. And I wanted to share something that happened, a beautiful little moment that happened for me thrifting this week, where I brought home this really cool little costume because it had this print of like stars and moons on it. And last night I was showing it to AJ and she holds it up and she goes, "Wait, what's this?" And it turns out it was a costume, and the part of it, check it out, lights up. Do you see it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be on my jacket. How cool is that? So I'm showing you it because it's like a little fantastical, treasure that I found while thrifting. I also made a decision this week. I don't know what it's going to lead to, but I brought my dollhouse to Raleigh, and the reaction to it was just exactly kind of what I had hoped for. There were some women there that were really lit up by it, and I could see they were about to go out and buy their own dollhouses. They were that moved by the story and by the healing that happened for me while creating the dollhouse. And on the way home, I stopped at a Goodwill and I found these two little more dollhouses. And I thought, what are you, fucking crazy? You're going to buy more dollhouses? Like, you did your dollhouse. Like, what are you doing? And then I thought, well, you know what? When you feel called to do something, right, and you want to do it, and a creative urge, I said, well, there are $4 each. Okay. Who's going to beat you up for this? If you want to make 5 more dollhouses, and then it struck me, oh, I'm going to make a gay themed dollhouse. I'm going to make it all rainbows. And that's going to heal my inner. Yes. See, I see the ahas going on. And then I thought, well, maybe I'll make like a like a ghosts and demons one for all the darkness, all the dark parts, right? And then I had this vision of, my dream is the Broadway show, right? Shoot for the moon, reach the stars. Shoot for the moon from the from the costume, you'll reach the stars. I thought, imagine the lobby of said show, which is about dollhouses, and it's lined with all the dollhouses that I've done, or they're encased, like, and you can look at them. How freaking cool would that be? Okay. So who knows if any of that is going to lead into anything, but I wanted to share for obvious reasons, because it's this domino effect of creativity. You do one creative thing, it leads to another creative thing, leads to another creative thing. None of this would be happening if we weren't in the garden, okay? One of the things that was fun about making this book was I kind of stepped away a little bit from my New Thought, everything, like from New Thought, from 12 Steps, I just sat and thought about what words come to my mind. It was literally stream of consciousness. What words come to my mind when I think of the mind? And one of the words was fantasy, right? That's what we do with our mind, is we fantasize. And sometimes the fantasy can be like in my writing, if you read the book where I talked about fantasy, sometimes fantasy can be, better than reality. The thought of something. I talked about my art studio. I dreamed of having a river art studio. And guess what? The whole thing got washed away. Thank goodness I had pulled out of it. But the point is, it's like a fantasy. You think you want something, and then do you want it? The doodle that I want us to do is a fantasy land, our own fantasy land. Now, I showed you this already, and I'll also show you another one that I created that is now on the header of the Garden of Good. But I just loved what AI did with this and envisioned. And I thought, how fun would this be if it was, some kind of a theme park. How cool would that be? Come on, you guys, come on. So now I want you to grab your journals, and what I'm going to do is, this is what it's going to finally look like, but we're going to start from scratch, and I'm going to basically guide you with a few areas, and I'm going to give you the basic layout of a few areas, and then you will fill it in and name it what you want to name it. So I'll explain, but what we're going to do is we're going to, like, for instance, these are the areas that we're going to do. We're going to have hills. We're going to have the river. We're going to have a forest. We're going to have mountains, and we're going to have home. And some of the examples I'll show you mine again, and I'll tell you like a little bit more about mine. So the river, like my river, is the river of abundance, and hills of hope, and the forest of fun, the mountains of magic. I just love alliteration, but it doesn't have to be. It could be the hills of discovery, and you could write it, or you don't have to write it. But I'm going to guide you through this little doodle, and I will guide you through the outline. Oh, you just got a hint at what we're doing after magic wand. And I'll guide you through this first doodle, and I'll kind of give you an outline, and then while you're drawing, I'll give you a little talk. Okay? So I think we start with the hills, because they're at the bottom of this doodle. So we're gonna just make a few rolling hills. Wherever you want, I put them at the bottom because they're right out front, right? Just some hills. And after you create your hills, you might want to put some highlights on your hills. You might want to put some lines or dots on your hills. Maps are funny because they're not the territory. They're just the map of what somebody decided to call something, right? So again, this is about naming it, naming this. Imagine that this is the world of your mind, right? The hills of your mind. What would you like the hills of your mind to be? Now, you don't have to fill it in yet, because we're going to go right into the river. So I want you to take a blue, and I want you to just make a river that winds around, and it gets bigger, and it kind of comes up behind the hill like that. You can just make it just wind up. And this is, again, you can fill this in with waves or however you want to do it with the ripples. I'm not going to go too much into this because I want to give you my talk while you color it. But, river is about flow. What do you want to flow through your world, the world of you? Is it, the river of ease, the river of allowance? For me, it's abundance. I want to see abundance in my life in every way, just a big flow. The next thing I did was I took a purple or a pink to make my mountains, and the river flows like between the mountains, right? So you can like imagine that there's like some space in between these two mountains. However you want to make your mountains, you can make them pointy or you can make them, and then, with everything, you can add lines or dots, make them your mountains. And the mountains is like, what is towering in your mind? What's the first thing, or what are the mountains of your mind? The mountains of moments. That just came to me for somebody like Joellen. She's living moment to moment, the mountains of moments. One step at a time, one moment at a time. So you've got your hills, and you get to name that. My hills of whatever. I can't wait to hear about what you choose to call them. Hills of harmony. I love that for me. I love when things are harmonic, when things are working together. And then, of course, you're going to want to make a sun, right? And for your sun, I like the idea of mine being at sunset. I read somewhere that sunset is the first kiss of the night or something like that. I love that. And your sunset would be pinks and oranges, and you could, make it as big or as small as you like. And fill it in thinking about the light. What is the light in your life? I put the light of love. This is the fantasy map of your mind. As I was saying mind, I was writing mind. And just like everything, like the more you add to it, the more it's going to sort of come to life, right? And I put on mine, of course, because we're in mind, I'm putting lots of stars all over. Stars and hearts, always. Stars and hearts. So think about, what are these spaces in you that you would like to fantasize of having more of? I have more love. I have more, or I notice more the light of love in my life. I know I noticed love when I was getting ready for the garden today and I was starving, and I told her I really need to eat, and she brought me home some Indian food, and I thought, this is love. So the final thing is home, which I'm just going to do a little simple little house here. Y'all can get crazy. You can make it an igloo. I don't know, whatever you want to make it. I'm going to put a door. I'm going to put a window shaped like a heart. I'm going to get a striped roof. Love this. We got a little gold here. This is pretty exciting. And think about the doodle as you're listening to my talk. So it's funny because a couple weeks ago I mentioned to you all that for me, like doing two things at once, doodling while listening, makes me comprehend more. Guess what? There are studies about this. Something like they tested people listening and comprehension, and those who were doodling while they were listening retained like 45% more or something like this. I'll find the exact statistic, but it was really, really cool when I found that out, because was what I suspected. So as you create your fantasy map of your mind, I'm going to give you a little talk on fantasy and forgiveness. Because this morning, I had something really, really emotional happen. And I thought to myself, okay, if this is happening, it's happening for the garden. Everything that happens for me especially on a garden day, I listen really closely, and I ask spirit to show me like, what am I to dig into here? And it was forgiveness. This thing came up. So I thought, well, how do you connect fantasy to forgiveness? Well, I'm going to start with an Einstein quote where Einstein said that imagination, you've heard this before, is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world. And I start with this quote because without imagination and without fantasy, we don't have the magic of forgiveness. It's not the pulling rabbits out of hats magic. It's the real spell work of the soul, which is forgiveness. So imagine you could pull off that trick, right? Forgive, first of all, yourself, for anything, and everyone else too. Like I said, I had an old hurt come up today. It was very old. It was from my 20s. And I had a part in this thing that had happened, but I realized that because I had blamed myself so much, I had never allowed myself to actually feel anger about the situation and feel my own pain about the situation, right? Because there's always two sides. And we know that blame is very low vibration, right? So when you start to advance on your journey, you go, oh my gosh, wow. So maybe I wasn't to blame. Maybe that was the unfoldment of the perfect thing, right? And everything led to the next thing, that's why that dissolved, so that this could grow, so that I could learn, so that they could learn, so that, right? Like everything's on time. But sometimes it really has to involve some forgiveness. And Marianne Williamson always leans heavily into forgiveness. Of course, the Course in Miracles is all about that. The practice of forgiveness is our most important contribution to the healing of the world. Hear that. Feel that. I thought about this all day. The practice of forgiveness is our most important contribution to the healing of the world. But let's be honest. Forgiveness is not easy. It's just not. It often requires fantasy, imagination, for us to get a little bit playful with our pain, to zoom out, to shapeshift, to find some meaning in the mess, to imagine like that they're not thinking about you as much as you are. Like imagine physically picking them up off the hook, pick yourself up off the hook, So I invite you tonight into this fantasy realm. You're walking into this garden of good, this magical, mystical realm. Imagine that there's all these bioluminescent plants and they're glowing kind of like the old grief, but it turns to gold. And the butterflies made of old love letters and dreams deferred. And yes, of course, there are garden gnomes. You guys, we almost made garden gnomes tonight because it's fantasy time. And I will even show you proof that we almost made garden gnomes, but it just was too stupid. I couldn't do it. So we might do garden gnomes some other night, but the spirit gnomes in our little garden are the little wisdom keepers with the sparkly hats, with mystical shovels and a sense of humor. They dig through our inner compost, and they don't judge. They don't judge what they find, the broken roots, the old bones, the bitter seeds. They just chuckle and say, you can grow from this. You can plant something new in the soil of this sorrow. So I saw today that this old hurt could help us tonight to talk about forgiveness. I mean, even having some pain today and seeing that I could use it for tonight to connect with you, to ask you, is there something that you have to forgive yourself or someone else for? See, fantasy is not really about denying what's real, but revealing a bigger truth beneath the hurt. Forgiveness doesn't say that didn't hurt. It says that hurt, but I choose freedom. I imagine myself free. Remember, we were singing that. Forgiveness says, I'm not waiting for an apology to set me free. And fantasy helps us to imagine what freedom might look like. Like, imagine if you put your blame down like a sword and you pick up a paintbrush or a poem or a new dance move instead. Imagine you turn your betrayal into a bedtime story or your heartbreak into a lantern you carry throughout the night. Clarissa Pinkola Estes wrote, I love this one. Forgiveness is the act of giving up all hope for a better past. When we stop trying to edit the past, we finally get to imagine the future. So the wand that we're going to make our little wand here. Next. Somebody's coming in. Serena's here. The wand that we make, that we craft, will be crafted from every time you chose peace over pride, every time you softened instead of snapped. And this wand will work when you believe that it's okay to start over again. You're more than what happened to you. So you can picture that there's a place where whatever grudge or thing that you haven't forgiven, it's gone. What does that feel like? Fantasy is a tool. It's not a trap. It's a garden. It's not a gate. Let your imagination till the soil. Let your heart be the sun. And let the gnomes help you laugh while you let go. Because when you forgive even a little, you grow. So tonight, let's create from this space of wonder. Let's imagine ourselves into healing. Let's fantasize our way into freedom, because this is the garden of good, and so are you. And so it is.
Okay, I have the light of love, the mountains of inspiration, river of compassion, and hills of comfort.
So a couple weeks ago, I had the immense pleasure to go to Hilton Head, and where we stayed, they had a lazy river. And I'm telling you that we need more lazy rivers in the world to reduce stress. So this is my lazy river.
Is what now? What does that mean? A lazy river? Does it you just like sit on it and be lazy?
No, the water. They have the water moving, and it goes in a circle, and you just get on a float, and you just like it moves you. You don't even have to exert any energy to move along. It is the most.
Okay, that's my picture. Can you see it?
Oh, it's so pretty. I love it.
There in the sun is written love, because I was doing light for the version.
Yes.
I'm doing alliteration on everything.
Yes.
The house is happiness. The forest is friendship.
Yes. I love those
The
trees.
river is abundance. And the fire is fierceness, but I don't know how to spell fierceness.
Ooh, I love this. You have such a wonderful sense of color and energy. I love the rainbow behind the mountains. Mountains of goals. I love that. She's young. She can have mountains and mountains of goals. Just kidding. Anything else you want to share about it?
I have my crown on.
I was going to say, and you have all the stuff in the back too, like all the pieces
Yes.
behind you.
And I do have my magic wand as well.
Yes.
Okay. Here we go.
Oh,
I
wow.
have my home of reflection. I have my happiness hills. I have a river of becoming, my forest of friends, my circle of grace, and prayer peaks.
Oh my God, I love it. You guys?
All right. Mountains of magnificence.
Yes.
So that's representing the magnificence within my being, of my being. Forest of freedom. This time for freedom. We don't typically think of forests as freedom, but I went with the alliteration, and freedom's important to me, so why not?
I love it.
The river of prosperity. That's not alliteration, but I love the word prosperity because it's about multiplying on its own, like nature multiplies on its own effortlessly.
Just like those flowers behind you. That picture is beautiful that you're.
Yes, yes, I love it. Light of love and source love fuels everything that I do and express. The home of wholeness. This is returning to wholeness. And I covered up my hills because that's last, because I call it the hills of hilarity.
Yeah.
One of my creative things is humor writing, and I want to get back into it. So it's
Yes.
reminding me, and it makes me laugh. So I want to get back into it.
Monologue. And this craft that we're going to do is, and how we're going to do it, we're going to just do a real simple one. I was going to do some crazy origami thing, and then I was like, you know what? Let's just keep it really simple, because it's just the idea that we have this representation of a wand. Wands are so cool. There's such cool history about the magic wand. You know, they have found it carved into, you know, the caves for, you know, centuries. Egypt, Mesopotamia, the staff of Moses is supposed to be sort of like an early wand object. So make a decision what you would like the star of your wand to be, and then what color you would like the stick. I can't think of the word. Anyway, so there's two colors. Or you could do one handle. Thank you, Breezy. So I'm going to make my wand, my star, gold because, yeah. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a piece of paper of the color of your star, and you're going to go long to short once and long to short again. So it's like almost there, it's like quarters, right? And once you have it in quarters, I want you to draw a star. And what this is going to give you, and you could just draw it freehand, do your best. Stars are not easy to draw, so just do your best. And then you can fix it a little bit when you cut it out. And what's cool about this is that we're going to use 2 stars for our wand, because we're going to cut this out and we're going to have 4 of them, right? So when you cut this out, you will wind up having four stars. Okay. And the idea behind this and having the 4 stars is that you're going to have 2 stars for your wand, and then you're going to have 2 stars for one for you and one to give away. So it would be nice if you gave it in a garden gram, but if you haven't fully given into the garden gram idea yet, I thought they're called wonderful stars. You are wonderful. You're going to put one around your house for yourself to remind yourself that you are indeed wonderful. And then I'd like you to give one away to somebody else. And so you have 2 stars to write wonderfuls on, and then 2 stars for your wand. So you can take your wonderful stars and put those off to the side for later to fill in. You know, they don't have to say you are wonderful. They could say anything you want, but they're gifts. They're little gifts. So then you got your 2 stars for your wand. And I found some fancy paper at the thrift store, and I've just been dying to use it. You see this little circular, this like golden paper. So while you are cutting out your stars, I'm going to cut out one of these gold circles, and I'm going to put it in the middle of my magic wand. And you can make a spiral in the middle of yours, or you can use another fancy paper, or you could use another paper if you want, whatever you want to do to decorate your star. And then to make your wand, the actual stick, We don't want it to get too thick, so you just take your other piece of paper and you make it long ways. You fold it in half long ways. Like this. You know, here's a piece of paper. Here's a piece of paper, and you're going to fold it long ways. And you're going to cut that in half. Because we're only going to use half of it. The other half can be used as a scrap. I wonder if anybody's using their scraps. I have a scrap, big scrap pile. So in order to make our handle, all we're going to do is we're going to fold it once. And we're going to fold it twice. And we're going to fold it 3 times. So it's going to be nice and thick. And you think, well, how is that going to stay together? Well, you know how it's going to stay together is you're going to put the star. That star is not good. Around it. So the first thing to do is you can glue it shut a little bit, make it stay together a little bit. You can just glue one of your stars to the end of it, like that. And then on the other side, you glue it to itself. So it acts as, oops, kind of make sure they match up. And it will hold together the whole thing. This is my magic wand. Like I said, you can glue it together if you want to. It might help it, it might not, because it's pretty thick. But I like it because it's kind of like, it has some strength to it, you know. I haven't had you guys get anything else but paper, so I'm going to take off my, so you can see it this way. Does everybody understand that? Raha. So there are, like I said, the staff of Moses is one of the most famous early wand-like objects. The book of Exodus, Moses uses his staff to part the Red Sea, perform miracles. It wasn't called a wand, but it operated in similar energetic fashion, channeling the divine into action. Seas part. In Greco-Roman mythology, the caducus of Hermes, 2 snakes wrapped around a staff, and the rod of Asclepius, a healing staff. Staffs used by gods, associated with communication, healing, and transformation. In Greek magic, rods and wands were used for necromancy, to summon direct or supernatural forces. There's the Druidic and Celtic traditions. There's medieval and Renaissance traditions, ceremonial magic, and of course, fairy tales, right? So when I was thinking about fantasy today and thinking about magic wands and everything like that, I was looking for a poem for Lorraine to read, and I found this simple poem that I thought was really moving. It was actually moving, and it was called If I Had a Magic Wand. And I'm going to read it to you. It's very short. And then I'm going to read you the one that I wrote. So this is from a woman named Karen Krutzinger. If I had a magic wand. If I had a magic wand, I'd stupefy my enemies into becoming friends. With me and with each other. I would wave it around in New York City and chant words that would spread love and hope from that city to Tokyo and back. I would build the homeless homes with it, and I would show them how to plant gardens, so I would feed the third world countries if I had a magic wand. And I don't know, it moved me. It moved me to tears. And I thought, we're going to write little mini monologues. This is where the theater is coming in, my darlings. So get your journals out. You now have your magic wand. I'm going to read you my magic wand piece. I'm going to give it to you. I'm going to be very dramatic with my magic wand. And then I'm going to give you a few minutes to write your magic wand monologues. And then I'm going to invite my theatrical gardeners to perform for us. Okay, so this is mine. If I had a magic wand, I'd make us all filled with health and joy. I'd feed all who need, and I'd make us all feel loved. If I had a magic wand, I'd remind us all that we are made of light, that we are stardust. And if I had a magic wand, I'd love all my parts and all your parts too. If I had a magic wand, I'd become good through and through.
So let me start with my doodle.
Yes. Oh. Ooh. Ooh. Ah.
There's a lot of movement in my doodle.
I love
So
that.
it reads, believe, stop right now and breathe. You are the wand. You are the magic. You are the radiant light. You have all that you need. Allow it to fly freely from your heart and your mind. You are the wand. You are the magic. You are the radiant light. Just believe in your own magic of love.
You have your wand.
Well, I mean, I made a wand.
I love your wand. I love your wand.
I was just looking for one of my gemstones. I'm going to put a gemstone in the middle,
Oh,
but
yeah.
honestly, like you guys, this is my wand.
Ooh,
This-
everybody,
this is
let's
my-
all
this is
unmute
my
and just go.
very special.
Ooh, ah.
I
Seriously,
use
will
this in
everybody
ceremonies.
please? Thank you.
Ooh,
Ooh, ah. That is gorgeous.
Ooh, wow. Ooh, I love it.
All right, will
And,
you give us a spell of your wellness, of your wand wishes in a very dramatic actress voice?
I'd love to, but I didn't write anything, Amy.
Do it, improvise it then.
Okay. What I want for each of you, what I want for all beings everywhere, is to follow the thread of aliveness, that you feel, cultivate that knowing that is deep, deep inside of you, that has always been there, that is your soul's essence, that calls to you. Sometimes it's a whisper, sometimes it's a growl. Sometimes it shakes your body. It's a vibration of a song, of a music that just moves through you and you can't help but dance. Follow that thread of aliveness. Follow it, follow it, follow it, follow it, because it will lead you to more peace, more joy, more ease, more bliss. And so be it. Ha ha!
Ah! Come on, everybody. Sparkly.
And this is the other side.
I
Garden
love
of
it.
Good. Okay. Here's mine. Okay. I do have a wand. And I will be at Don't Tell Mamas in New York City with my mama and all the gardeners, sitting by my side in a sold-out room after a Sunday full of fun. We will end the night exploring Broadway, the New York City one, not the Nashville one. Then take our magic fairy camper across the country to spread good to every square centimeter of the United States. Then we will get a plane and continue the mission internationally. I do have a wand.
Have I got my cute? I've got my glitter thing going on
Oh
because
my
I bought that whole
God,
glitter paper, so the wand is glittery.
It's so
Magic
good.
wand. It's my writing is a work in progress, of course, you know. If I had a magic wand, I would create peace on earth, healing the pain and the hurt. I would wave the wand and heal the families heart to heart. If I had a magic wand, I would heal Mother Earth. No more heating of our planet as we cherish the water and the sky. We honor every being on it. If I only had a magic wand.
If I had a magic wand, I would invite peace on earth with no more war. There would be food and shelter for everyone, and health would be a given. There would be enough room for all, the plants and the animals, with no more extinction. We would take care of each other with joy and patience. Everyone would discover their inner artist.
Oh, sure.
Okay. And you can use a dramatic voice if you would like. Opportunity to
Okay.
act.
If I had a magic wand, I would turn rocks into gold, and I would give golden rocks to anybody who needs some gold. If I had a magic wand, I would take away the pain from all hearts, souls, and bodies, and I would replace it with joy and light. If I had a magic wand, I would remind everyone of their own magnificence and magic. If I had a magic wand, I would give people freedom to make their own decisions on how to live their lives. If I had a magic wand, I would remind everyone to breathe, to just breathe.
If I had a magic wand, I'd travel anywhere in seconds and spread the love in my heart, swirling and joining the love all around, from the sky to the ground and beyond the beyond, until all is a light, as it's always been, now evident. If I had a magic wand, everyone would know without question that we are all one.
If I had a magic wand, I would create moments of wonder for those whom I would wave it for. My magic wand would not heal pain or bring world peace or solve hunger, nor bring back my beloved. For those things are our trials of fire that force us to grow. My magic wand would bring empathy in all, and slowly the wars will end and we would connect again.
Yay. Thank you, Amy, for creating that. That's beautiful. Okay, so I am Chrislyn. For those who don't know me, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and my mom is Kat. She's here in the group. And I'm very connected with all the people in all the communities. I love people. That's really my passion. And so I'm grateful to Amy for giving me the opportunity to do Kristen's Connections. And so this week specifically, I wanted to do our connection to Amy. So last week I shared that my connection to Amy is so fun. My mom was just trying to get motivated out of a depressive episode, probably in the kitchen cleaning. And she said, "Hey, Alexa, will you play an inspirational playlist?" And she's listening through. And then Exactly by Amy Steinberg comes on. And she's like, "Who's this?" So we click there. And of course, we fall in love with Amy Steinberg. Since then, mom has gone and seen her. She actually saw her. I mean, just after that, they saw each other at a conference and then have been to Asheville, been to Nashville, all the things. So obviously, we love Amy and we're glad to be here. Thank you, Alexa. Thank you, Spotify, for bringing us Amy Steinberg. And I checked today, and Amy has over 2,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, which I think is awesome. That's amazing. And I'm proud of you. So with all that being said, when I mentioned that story last week, several people, I asked you guys, I was like, how did you guys meet Amy? Some people commented in our little chat and said, some people messaged me on Facebook, and I got all of these amazing stories. Oh, it was just such a joy to read them all. I loved them. So I was like, how in the world am I going to share them all? Oh my goodness, I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm a little nervous. I got it. Okay, so one of the things that I heard over and over again was that everyone was astounded that Amy would sit there and listen to a sermon for 30 minutes, an hour, and then she would get back up on stage and she would rap it out. And she would do whatever the Reverend just said, she would rap it right there on the spot. And I heard that over and over again. That's why they stayed. That's what really connected them to Amy, and made them want to listen to her over and over again. So Amy, with the help of Chachi, I wrote a rap and I recorded it and I have it. I just need to screen share to share.
Wands up, wings out, let the story begin. We met in Soul Spark, not just a friend. She sings like a seer, shines like a flame, and somehow each of us called her name. Cindy said, come to a magical night. I didn't know Amy, but it felt just right. Heard her at Unity, then met her in full, in the Garden of Good where the magic pools. She saw my work, said this is gold. Asked for Reiki healing, I was brave and bold. Mom heard exactly from a random cue. Now we play Amy like it's sacred truth. 12 years ago she lit up the room. Wrote a song on the spot like a sonic bloom. She sang hope with me like stars align. Amy's the reason we all shine. Garden of Good, Garden of Good, Garden of Good. Garden of Good. So welcome to the garden where the magic stays. Amy's our anthem in enchanted ways. Garden of Good. Garden of Good.
Mic drop! Oh my God. You got one more thing I wanted to share was about our affirmation card, which I invite you to make your affirmation card align with your root or with a fruit, right? So mine, because forgiveness was kind of the theme for today, I forgive the days where I fall and I rise again, because my root is dedication, and I have had just days, not full weeks, you guys. I'm like 45,000 words into this book, you guys. This fruit is happening. I am dedicated to it. But there are days where I just like don't want to do it. Where I'm just like, do I want to quit? Like, and I like give myself the opportunity.
It just says fantasy and
power
of imagination.
That's it. It's beautiful. See, she's already astro weather with Mary.
Thank you for having me so much, Amy. It was a
So
joy
happy you're here.
Yes, it was a joy to get to spend some time with you a couple days ago and to be here again with you. So happy first day of Gemini season, everyone. Gemini, the sun is at 0 degrees in Gemini, so we might feel some lighter energy going on. It just left Taurus, which is fixed earth, so now we're in the mutable air sign of Gemini, so we might feel a little bit lighter and more ideas flowing and clarity and connectivity coming in. So that feels nice. But I'm really excited about this new moon coming up in Gemini next Monday. But before that happens, we've got a few other things that are really important happening. So this year and some of last year, we have really, like these outer planets making these big shifts into new signs, which is a big, big deal. And we have on the 24th, Saturn enters Aries right on the heels of Neptune entering Aries on March 30th. So they're going to be close to each other. And this is like a new beginning with this Saturn-Neptune conjunction in Aries. So think, hero's journey, like the new cycle, the new beginning, starting at this 0 degrees in Aries. Also that day, the 24th, we have Mercury conjunct Uranus. So it's our like logical mind, Mercury, conjunct the higher mind, Uranus, which is just like flashes of revelations and insights and lightning bolt, things, realizations coming out. It could also be like really surprising news, maybe in the public or something. I don't know. I don't watch the news, but could be that kind of thing too. So we've got that happening. And then just a couple days later, we've got the new moon in Gemini. And it's, since it's a new moon, it's the one we want to really think about. What do we want to manifest? What do we want to bring in? But it's so perfect because we've got all this new energy going into Aries. Like the last time Neptune was in Aries was in, like 1860 something. So it's been a long time. Last time Saturn was in Aries was in 1996. So it's really cool that that's happening. I can't wait to kind of tap in and touch base with everybody and see how everybody's feeling when that happens. But I think Amy's going to talk about this too, but it's a really great time to think about, like, between now and next Monday, and maybe on the 24th, when that Mercury Uranus conjunction is happening, you're really feeling connected. Maybe
What
sit
day is
down
that? What day is the 24th?
I'm not sure.
Look.
Maybe
I'll
it's
look.
Saturday.
I'm gonna look right
Yes,
now.
Saturday.
So some insights might be coming in, and this whole fantasy thing is beautiful. Like the moon is in Pisces right now, and Pisces is like the fairy dust. And so I that's what I think of it as, you know. So it's like we're experiencing this fairy dust and this playful fantasy energy. So I think it would be so beautiful to keep that going and infuse that into, you know, some really beautiful intentions and manifest things that you want to bring in. Really think about what you want to bring in and connect with your heart, and the future for yourself and the future for our world. And even writing it down, Mercury, Gemini energy, writing it down. I like to put it for a new moon, like under some water, like a glass of water up at night. And then in the morning, I drink the water, or, you know, infuse it, put some special stuff in your bathtub and, you know, sit in the tub, and, you know, connect with those intentions. But it's a really beautiful opportunity to do that at the beginning of this journey in Aries. So thank you. I think I'm complete. I could talk forever about it, but
What I got from her, I'm just going to reiterate, is that 2 major planets are going to be in Aries, which Aries is the first in the wheel. So it's new beginnings, like that, those sparks of ideas. This new moon in Gemini, there's a lot of newness, a lot of exciting. And it's like spring too. And I love that we're just in the Gemini season, which is, Geminis are the loquacious of the zodiac, the writers of the zodiac, the talkers of the zodiac. So we were talking earlier, and she said, well, isn't a pen a magic wand? So your pen, writing down your thing. So for home play this week, one of the things here is, you know, planting fantasy seeds, which is with your pen, you know, with your writing. Practicing forgiveness this week. I want you to think about what you're not forgiving right now. And if there's anything, I know for me, it's me. It's for sure me. So I'm going to cast some spells on myself, practice some forgiveness, and plant some fantasy seeds. You know, I was very moved again by the rap, but also by the idea that some more people will be coming to New York, that I'm going to fill up that room. You know, my beginner mind had that vision so clear. And now as time goes on, I'm like, well, if it's just Chrysalin and Kat, that'll be okay. Like, like I'm just like having fear, you know, and like fear will pull you back from your fantasy, you know. And sometimes I think it's to protect us, and then other times I think it's just because I'm scared. So I'm gonna plant my wonderful notes on my. I'm gonna send one out. And you know what we forgot to do is the gift giving time. So we'll do that before we close out. And Martha Christie is owed now 2 gifts, so she's probably going to get the third too to make my life easy. Gratitude lists, of course. We have our gratitude guide, we'll call her, Chrysalin. She often will post. But you know what I love? Have you noticed what's happened? That other people have picked up on it, right? Like Joellen will post a gratitude, or Cindy will post a gratitude, and we're all falling in line. So Chrysalin doing it so consistently for several days in a row led to a domino effect. So I want to say thank you again for that, Chrysalin. I wish for you a beautiful, beautiful week with my wand. And I put daily meditation down again for myself and for you. Daily meditation, even if it's a walking meditation, whatever it is that you can do to just quiet your mind, to allow all those things. And then I had vision, which is really goes with forgiveness, with fantasy. Visioning really goes with fantasy, to imagine embodying that thing that you fantasize. I felt it when people were reading their fantasies. Forgiveness is a process, you know. I think sometimes also forgiveness, I'm going through something where I'm having a few friends, I'm distancing from a few friends, and I'm wondering if forgiveness is letting go, you know, not re-engaging with the same song, the same story. All right, we've got
Everyone take a deep breath in and let it out slowly. As you settle into this moment, imagine a lush garden within your mind, a place where fantasy and forgiveness bloom side by side. Picture vibrant flowers of imagination unfurling their petals, and gentle streams of forgiveness washing away old hurts. Feel the warmth of the sun, symbolizing the light of understanding, shining down on your inner landscape. Let each breath cultivate new possibilities, and each exhale release any lingering pain. In this garden, every step forward is a step towards growth and grace. Allow yourself to dream boldly and forgive freely, knowing that both are powerful tools of transformation. Know that prayer carries the spell into the ethers and releases it into energy. Your intention of dreams and forgiveness is embedded in the thoughts and feelings you have, and this creates the world you live in. Your imagination excludes nothing. Appreciate your thoughts and dreams, for they are yours and they represent how you want to live. As we close this meditation, carry this sense of wonder and compassion with you, knowing that your inner garden is always there to nurture and renew you. Take one more deep breath, and when you're ready, gently open your eyes, carrying the magic of fantasy and the peace of forgiveness into your evening. And so it is.
So it is. I just realized as you were reading that beautiful meditation so beautifully that I forgot to do breakout rooms tonight. So, part of your home play this week can be reaching out to another gardener, having a one-on-one, saying hello through Facebook or through a message, sending out a gardengram. I promise you we'll do breakouts next week. All right, so I'm holding in consciousness the beautiful wand wishes that we all hold for a world that works for everyone, for a peaceful world, for a joyful world, for an empathy, a world filled with empathy, as Kaz read about in her wishes. And I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful for our time together. Do one little thing, stepping toward your goals, and focus upon the good. Focus upon being soft and forgiving with yourself and others this week. Yes? All right. I will be hanging in here after the final song for those who are new to do a little more chit-chatting, but I like to close it with the song, so you can stick around and I'll be right back. But I love you. Bye-bye. Here we go. Play, pray, slay. In the dark, gonna make good today. In the dark, gonna create, elevate, celebrate, and love. I'm Amy from the GOG, Garden of Good Creativity. We get free, be me, work it effortlessly. Do what you love and then allow the prosperity. You got this. Make good, make it your own. You know you got the power in your mind, heart, body, and soul to grow dreams, grow faith, grow you. Create authentically in the garden of good. Give, live, and love. In a garden, gonna dig big and trust. In the garden, gonna